Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this new lesson. Remember this dude from before? Okay, well, he's going to be the model that's going to help me explain what I'm going to do next. You have to keep in mind that for characters, the less realism there is, the easier it is to explain. The infographic itself is about simplifying, reducing, and being able to transmit the information in the simplest way possible. And so that all of its readers are able to interpret the things you are representing. For this reason, I'm going to give you some tips in this lesson so that you can repeat this at home and, for example, take an image that you can use to simplify. It could be your parents, your friends, a dog, whatever you want. You could even use the characters you're going to have to include in your infographic. That would be clever. I'm going to use this model as an example, and then I'm going to tell you about the characters that I've chosen. As you can see, the essential piece here is that this guy's face is quite oval-shaped, and is very long. That's the main feature of this guy's face. It's a long face. From the shape of the face, you can get the rest of the drawing. I'm going to be doing this quite slowly, because I like to polish things pretty well. I like the lines to look nice. The next step we're going to exaggerate is maybe, so that it looks, a bit more cartoonish, are the ears. If we make these little shapes to the sides, we won't have to create a hyper-realistic ear. It's the funniest part of what we can do when making this image simplification. As you can see, there are just a few lines. A line, a semicircle, and there we have it. The next step that we can see is the beard. This guy has quite a serious expression. So we have the mouth. That would be these two gaps that leave the skin seen because the beard is clipped in that way. He looks after his beard. The nose could be the most complicated part. I personally don't want it to be a full cartoon drawing, exaggerating facial parts. I want it to be simplified. So I'm going to try and reduce them the most possible. Making two circles is normally the best way to draw a person, to represent the nose. I'm going to draw this V. It's a simple V to represent the nose. As we can see in the reference photo, he's kind of looking at the camera. So we can see that V on his face. Now we have to move on to the hair. I'm going to draw like a casual hairstyle reflecting the hair that's kind of looking a bit stuck up. This guy's got a bit of bedhead. I'm going to draw the sideburns and the hairline, and I'm going to erase the rest of it. The next step is the eyebrows. As you can see, they have kind of an expression showing anger or seriousness. So I'm going to mark some wrinkles to emphasize that expression a bit more. His eyes are sort of drooping. So with these semicircles, I'm going to draw them. I'm also going to mark the wrinkles showing age and stress. This guy's stressed. The eyelids. And as you can see, the eyes, well, they're not very complicated. They're just kind of like black dots. Because this man is dead inside. This will be the result of the simplification that I've done of this image we have as reference. Depending on you guys, you can vary the styles, and also you have to keep in mind that it is what you want to represent in your infographic. I'm more interested in making something that's a little more animated and is more in the tone of children's stuff. So I want to make a more cartoony style that, just fits with the style I'm looking for. For example, in this case, I'm coming from a circle to make the character. I have on the left the person, and I'm going to create a character that shares the characteristics that I've done in the first one. As you can see, he has the angry face, the marked wrinkles, the nose in V, the beard, that serious expression. He needs a hug, And as you can see, we've done this second character that's based on the person that we have on the left, our model. Again, remember the styles, as there may be one in concrete that you're interested in, but if not, I'm going to tell you to try to synthesize based off this lesson what I'm teaching you. Simplification. Okay, with simple shapes, as you can see in like these geometric figures. For example, in this case, I'm going to draw a profile shot of the same man. Add in the beard, the ears, the nose, the mark of his eye bags, his hair. And then we have another quick drawing of our third character. I could go on like this for ages. I could vary the style a lot. But, well, it's just a question of looking for one that fits more with what we want. Like in this case, I'm going to deform the face a little more. And if you look closely, kind of like in a subconscious way, all of them have their, those eye bags, that same expression, and they share a lot of, similitudes between themselves. They should get together and hug. Hug it out. Work out their problems. Well, I'm going to show you the characters that I want to create, basing myself off the activists that I mentioned before. I'm going to place the images so you can see them. All right, here we have Chico Mendes. I'm going to place the other two now. Here we have Wangari. And lastly, we have Nelson. I haven't really placed them in any specific order or anything. I just want to see them and then be able to show you the simplification I did before. And here we have all three of them. And, well, my idea is to include them into the infographic. I've already done the composition. I've searched for information on them. And, here I would have those cartoon faces I made of the three. And as you can see, we can see those facial assets that I'm going to show you now. I'm going to select them now. I'm going to grab a brush so I can draw on the images and show you those assets with a bit more simplicity. For example, from this man, I wanted to point out the nose. And I also wanted to point out the hair, the eyebrows, the mustache. Most of all, the mustache. They're the most characteristic things that the person in the image can have. We have to reflect them and make sure that we can see them in the drawing that we're going to do. The most characteristic part of a person's face, especially in a man's case, is the facial hair. And, well, on the rest, we have the hair, the eyebrows, the position of the eyes, the shape of the face, as you're seeing here. In her case, I wanted to make the hair stand out because, for example, in most of the images that I've searched of her, she has this headscarf on. She has a more rounded nose. Her lips are a little thicker. For this reason, you have to have a little bit of a good eye when you're representing characters, because you could do anybody by making a random face. But if you want to make somebody that's real, you have to base off their face. See you guys in the next lesson. Bye!